can begin with a straight back, comfortable seat, legs folded half cross-legged or fully crossed, or under you, or on a chair, straight back, belly in, heart up, shoulders up and back and down. Take a nice deep breath, inhale, fill up and hold, open the throat and the heart chakra, exhale, release. Pause in emptiness. Again, breathe in, fill up. Hold, inhale more. Release without pushing. Really let that go and then pause in the emptiness. One more time, inhale. Exhale. We'll do the 100-syllable mantra of Vajrasattva for purification. The deity, white in color, holding a bell and Vajra in front of us. If you don't have that image, Google it. There's a million color images of it. You can pause the recording and do that if you like. If you're driving, wait till later, please. We put our hands in the Vajra fist, if you know how that works, for samaya or commitment to awaken and remind the deity of their commitment that they took as bodhisattvas on the path, and to help all beings. And we are talking about the 37 practices of the bodhisattva. So the 100-syllable mantra, just one time through. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Tishadrido Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Suposhaya Mebawa Anarato Mebawa Sarasiti Meprayata Sarakama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Saratata Gata Vajramamamuta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Samaya Shude Ah. We rest in naked awareness. Lights from Vajrasattva entering into our three places. And we receive those blessings, that initiation and that purification. Okay, so we're beginning our continuing, I'm looking up the episode number so I don't say the wrong episode. I have to make sure I'm advertising correctly. Oh yeah, episode 48 of the 12-step Buddhist podcast. Practices of the Bodhisattva, number 6. We're going to get into that in just a moment. Last week I kind of just gave you an update a little bit on the practice, or on the writing, and then the practices of the Bodhisattva. For those unfamiliar, you can look that up. The Bodhisattva is the practitioner. The Bodhisattva can be the guru. The Bodhisattva can be the enlightened Buddha. There are different meanings in different contexts, from different languages in different texts at different times for different beings of different capacities. We have our tunnel vision, so we kind of like to superimpose our fixed, solid meaning on things, but that's not how it works. Well, this week I'm just going to go into this and tell you a little bit about a meditation training that I'm doing, I've got up. And this one, number 6, when in reliance on someone, your defects wane. And what, just so that makes sense. On someone, they mean the spiritual teacher. It could be the inner wisdom invoked and evoked through the deity practice, such as we did with Vajrasattva. It's a little scary, especially if you're a little crazy and prone to wishful thinking and self-delusion, like many of us are. So it's better, and I've written and spoken extensively on this, it's better to have a real teacher and not some knucklehead, not some poser. It's better if you understand what real teachers are. But I have very little hope that very many people actually care that much about it, let alone are willing to seek out a teacher, let alone are willing to do what it says here. So let's continue. When in reliance on someone, your defects wane and your positive qualities grow like the waxing moon. To cherish such a spiritual friend more than your own body is the practice of a bodhisattva. So we do have to understand what this means, and really putting others first, really putting the teaching and the teacher first. Now, unfortunately, we're so stupid in the West and in our time frame and culture. We're stupid on a lot of levels, but one of them is we can believe the bullshit from the idiots, to be honest with you. Does that sound harsh? Gee, I'm sorry. You can believe knuckleheads who spew their fake-ass wisdom and sell you all their stuff. You know, you can follow people who maybe are articulate, maybe are eloquent, maybe are psychopaths or narcissists or sociopaths who have a way of getting your attention and making you feel a certain way and getting you all stirred up and getting you committed. So I'm sorry if you can't discern the difference between that and a real, true, honest, humble, good, solid teacher. You need to. So that's just, I'm pretty hardcore on this. So, the idea of needing a teacher is something that's a given, in previous times and cultures. But for us, I'm an individual. No one's going to tell me. I'm going to pick and choose. And there's just all ego and arrogance involved in that. However, there is a way to balance that. There is a way to balance it once you've got some years of experience and once you understand who you're really relying on. Once you have some clarity and you're not bullshitting yourself. So it's not that easy to do. It's taken me decades and I'm still quite capable of bullshitting myself. I try not to with the help of friends. I surround myself with women who are powerful and who will definitely not let me. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but women in general have a wisdom that us guys don't have. So if you get strong women around you who are not crazy, but have your best interests at heart, then they'll tell it to you straight. It's just in their nature to tell it to you straight and to be straight and to set you straight. Man or woman, whatever your gender or gender identification or lack thereof is kind of irrelevant. I'm just saying, in general, I surround myself with people in the circle of safety, in the management team. If you can't find a guru, get a management team and let that, what we would call in 12-step, what we would call the group conscience, let the group conscience speak. Now you have to be careful because the group conscience can be a fucking lynch mob, The group conscience can be racist. You know what I mean? Can be fundamentalist. So it's not just going along with what everybody thinks, but it's being on a spiritual plane of openness and courage and wisdom and humility with like-minded individuals who are seasoned and who have done their work and who are also willing to be called out on their bullshit by people strong enough and smart enough to know what that is. Okay? Now, I live in San Diego. Southern California is like it's just completely, like, you can't say anything to anybody without them getting their little panties in a ruffle, okay? Everyone's so oversensitive, and so, just hypersensitive. Well, nobody wants to be called out on their facade. We put up our facade. And this is, San Diego, SoCal, it's an evolution from the materialistic into the more green, if you're into the spiral dynamics, into the more egalitarian. We've got our needs met. We have some affluence. We have some time to reflect and contemplate. Yeah, I think I should recycle. Yeah, I care about this and that. But you're still in a kind of a development stage there before you transcend, the materialism completely and move into the egalitarianism, You think how egalitarian you are, give up your parking space. Do you know what I mean? Just because you bring your bags into Whole Foods doesn't make you spiritual. Okay, I'm sorry. It's great that you're evolving, but you have to see the big picture, really. Well, I think you should. But anyway, so when you rely on the spiritual teacher, your positive qualities grow. So here's a really interesting thing that my teacher taught us. If your qualities aren't growing, your practice isn't working. So if you want to know if your practice is working, how's your life? And we used to talk like this in 12-step decades ago. Does your life work? How are your relationships? How are your finances? How's your health? How's your emotional health? How's your well-being? Okay? If you want to bullshit yourself, then you're going to tell yourself what you want to hear, right? But self-deception and experimentation, that's the kind of stuff that got me hooked on my addictions. And that's the kind of stuff that's, those neural pathways are still in the brain. So they're all, right there, ready to come alive anytime. So it is a path and a process. But my point is, I do get a lot out of I get a lot out of yoga. I get a lot out of my teachers. They're not really like super spiritual journey, long-term practitioner type people like I am, like I am used to. But I'm open to the wisdom, and they do channel some stuff. Sometimes these like younger chicks are like 20 years old, or like saying something in a yoga class, and I'm like, instead of being like, no, she couldn't possibly know anything, she's just a child, I'm like, wait a second, well, that makes a lot of sense. Wait, that went into my heart, So there is a way, you know what I mean? As long as I understand, it's not necessarily the source. It's not necessarily that person is, holy or something. But when we open ourselves up, we can channel wisdom. To cherish a spiritual friend more than your own body. I mean, it's just really the point. It's not necessarily, although you could, give your body up. It's how much is your self-centeredness, around what you would protect. You protect your own body. You want it to eat. You want to have sex. You want to be warm. You want to, protect yourself. You want to be safe. You want to be comforted. You don't want to have, a toothache or a hangnail or a headache. I mean, you do everything you possibly can. And if you're anything like me, I mean, I'm an addict. I'm in recovery a long time. I would do anything I could to escape and avoid the suffering and the pain. I mean, the last thing that I'm willing to do is sit and experience the distress. But fortunately or unfortunately, I had to do that for years, several years, sober. I couldn't escape the distress, like it didn't go away. And I didn't, choose to drink or use. So, I had to feel it. I had to let it come and go. I had to somehow bear it and bear witness to it and just be, tolerate the discomfort, and discomfort that a lot of people don't really have to go through, There's a really big range, between people who, people who haven't really experienced a lot of trauma and people who've experienced trauma. And so for the ones who haven't, I'm not asking you to listen to me or do anything except maybe be more compassionate to those who have. Understand that. But those of us who have, I mean, I have a survey up. I think it's might be on the 12-step Buddhist page on Facebook. It's a survey on the adverse childhood experiences. And I ask people to go online, and if you want to do this, you can Google it. Just Google NPR ACE score. So NPR had an article on it, and on their website they've got a link to a quiz, and you can take it in just a couple minutes, and you can find out what your adverse childhood experiences score is. But I was interested in getting details from people so I could understand better and work with some of that material in the book, in compassionate recovery, that is. So if you don't have an ACE score more than 0, like if you have an ACE score of 0, your worldview is totally different. If your ACE score goes from 1 to 2, the amount of increase of your likelihood of developing really serious problems like stress-related disorders, addiction, suicidal tendencies, lower lifespan, alcoholism, addiction. This goes up from 2 to 4% every time you jump up one digit in the ACE score. So from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 goes up, I don't know if that's exponentially. I think it's exponentially. Anyways, if you have an ACE score of 4, like my ACE score is 8. I really should be dead, honestly. I shouldn't have made it. But, my reaction to life is different. I don't, like if I experience a trigger, which could be anything in a split second from any environmental cue, I used to sit in Zen practice in the Zen center, and I would be so triggered just sitting still, experiencing my experience, in my body was overwhelming to me. So my point is that if you're not able to tolerate distress, the ACE score survey that I put up, a lady was on there and she said, I tried 3 times to do it and I had an anxiety attack each time. And I said, I'm sorry, I understand. I get it. You don't have to do it, But I'm teaching a lot of practices that can help you embody your experience and framing this whole thing in the context so that we can understand, But what do? We try to protect ourselves, and we protect ourselves even, if you guys have ever watched Euphoria on HBO, I watched the first couple of episodes, it's super graphic and super intense. There's that desire to escape. There's that relief that you get from the hit of the drink, fix, pill person, whatever it is. The intolerable consciousness of our reality, as the AA literature says. So you have that distress, and there are people who don't have that distress. So when we sit still, we have to learn to embody it. And the thing is that the point I was making about Euphoria is that she talked about her addiction. It went by really fast, and if you're not in the addiction field, you might not have caught it. But the viewpoint that we have done even if it's like cutting or acting out sexually or drinking, smoking, whatever whatever, these are survival tools to help you make it in the world. At first, for a period of time, somehow. So rather than split off from it and kind of reject that part of ourselves, we can welcome it, embrace it, and say, okay, I get why you're here. I get why you're here. And here in self-compassion, I want to heal, and I want to go to a, do you know what I mean? A new place, right? So don't hate yourself. Don't loathe yourself. Don't hate your addiction. Don't reject that part of you. I've been working on this for a decade or more with people, the different parts of self and aspects of self. And I've written about these extensively. So, and in the new books, and the 2 new books coming out, I've got more work on that. So, the experience of your addiction is how you protect your body, even though you're hurting your body. It sounds crazy, but if you think about it, somehow you've got to cope with all these emotions. And the one lady, really good therapist that I saw at a conference, I think her name is Maris. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her name, but she's a student of Janine Fisher, who works a lot with the different parts of self kind of stuff and addiction and so forth. And, she was saying, hey, when someone says, I cut myself, okay, wow. It's amazing. It's amazing that you somehow came up with that as a solution and that it worked for you. Now what? Because it's not working anymore. It's not a rejection. It's not a shaming. It's like, okay, there's a reason for that. It's like DBT in the dialectical behavioral therapy they talk about. All points are valid. For, whatever we do makes sense to us for our reasons. And that may be crazy, it may sound nuts to other people, But whatever, you start to learn to accept yourself. Anyways, I'm just kind of going on this, how you value your own body and the things that you've done. So if you think about it, like what you've done in your addiction or your dysfunctional, however you want to look at it, whatever the things are you've done, yet to heal yourself, yet like in a very fucked up way, right? And in a way that's damaging to you, yet it was healing, and it worked somehow to get you to, like, somehow maybe, you did this as a child or a teenager, and then now you're in another stage, and you're like, wait a second, I gotta honor my body now, somehow. But, the idea being that if you've done that to protect your body, well, why wouldn't you do other stuff to surrender and to put the value and to get really close to the bone, really close to the heart, and put the value of your spiritual practice and the value of your faith in your teacher and the value of your faith in the teaching and the value of your discipline in your practice. Why wouldn't you put that? And that's a kind of a way that we can look at this with to cherish a spiritual friend more than your own body is the practice of a bodhisattva. To cherish the teaching. Maybe the Buddha is your spiritual friend. Maybe it's God. Maybe it's a group of friends. Maybe it's the universe. Maybe it's your breath. Maybe it's just this moment. However you need to be to make it work, but make it work. That's the dealio. So that one, number 6, we'll close on that. Obviously you can, just cherishing, just basically just ask yourself the question. Am I self-cherishing, or am I letting go? Am I surrendering? And not surrendering in a way that you maybe did when you were a child and getting molested or something? I had a guy in my Uber last night, and it was some drunk people they were drunk, but they were like drunk professionals, like in their 20s, and just doctors, and the guy was talking about being a pediatrician, and he goes, well, let me tell you something. Being a pediatrician isn't just like seeing cute kids and giving them a lollipop. He goes, what if you're examining a 5-year-old kid who has you're examining their anal cavity, and the parents are in the room because they've got a rupture. And then you do a blood test and you find out they've got a bacterial infection, which is a sexually transmitted disease. And you ask the father, hey, can I get your blood? Well, why? Well, it's just routine. We just want to make sure that we're giving, it's just our policy for care. Oh, okay. Then you find out the father's got the same STD as the 5-year-old boy who's getting inspected for an anal tear or serious whatever problem. He goes, yeah, it's not just pediatrics. He said all aspects of medicine have their very, very difficult parts to them. All the different fields of medicine. Anyways, I thought that was, that's right in line. I mean, because, this is the shit I hear in my Uber, just so you know. Oh, is Uber fun? Is it great? Does it make money? Oh my God. I hear this intense stuff, all kinds of things from all kinds of people. That's another, I could do a whole episode on that. But the point I'm making, you can look at what you're cherishing. Are you self-cherishing? Are you willing to give up but you're not surrendering that way like you would as a victim. You're surrendering to the present moment. You're surrendering to the truth of your embodiment in this moment, in this experience. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so if you go to bit.ly, bit.ly/, and get it, grounding meditation, what's it called? bit.ly, sorry. I'm slow on the uptake today. 101 meditation course. And you can go to compassionaterecovery.net and go to /meditation-101. And you can check out this meditation course. It's a 5-week course that I built. I'll tell you more about it. I'm going to write a blog article, and next week I'll post that up. I've got 13 reasons why you should be meditating every day. Don't should on me. I know, I get it. I'm just saying. 13 reasons why you should be meditating. So that's going to be up on compassionaterecovery.net. I'm sure I'll double post it on the 12stepbuddhist.com as well. So this is a 5-week practice that has video. It has a Zoom session at the end, which is a retreat for all the people who graduate from the course. Week 1 is focusing on settling in. So there's a daily practice with instructions and feedback. Week 2 is on establishing focus, ways of doing that, and specific practices with video. Week 3, expanding and deepening awareness. Week 4, letting go. Wow, letting go of attachments. And week 5, relaxing deeply. So compassionaterecovery.net/meditation-101. I think that's the easiest link to use. What you get in the course, you get an ebook of the whole course at the end. You get 5 audio recordings, I think at least 5 audio recordings, studio quality, for the meditations that we've done in the course, so that you can keep those going for yourself. You get prompt email and text support during the course and for 30 days after. And there's a money-back guarantee. If you do the first week and you don't like it, if you have to do the first week within a month, then you can get a refund if you don't like it. But check it out. It's really reasonably priced, and I'm putting a lot of hard work into all these things, and really doing a lot more trainings and a lot more talks, and writing a lot more books these days. So I hope that you can benefit from that. At any rate, this is Darren Littlejohn. It's been episode number 48 of the 12-Step Buddhist Podcast, Practices of the Bodhisattva, number 6. Peace out and namaste.